Tonight's podcast is brought to you by Boner Factory Films' newest piece of shit, Mayberry 20 AD.
Are you a fan of a good classic television show made into a terrible live-action movie that ignores all the values and principles of the original? Well, if so, you'll be pleased to enjoy the new movie, Mayberry 20 AD. The town of Mayberry has just fallen. Where morals once stood in place, now prostitution reigns supreme. Where apple pies baked on the streets have now been replaced with shake and bake meth. Enter Mayberry 20 AD. Andy Griffith is so old, he's dead. Barney Fife is so old, he's dead. Aunt B, yeah, that bitch is dead too. And now the only person to stand up to the crime that has invaded the town of Mayberry is none other than Opie Taylor.
Well, geez, Gomer, I just don't understand how I'm going to be able to clean up these streets. I could barely clean up my herpes.
Well, golly there, Opie. You're going to have to do something. I went down there to get some groceries from the corner mart and witnessed two women out on the corner. And they was just a straight up punching each other right in the muffs.
My God.
Mayberry 20 AD, coming soon to a drive-in near you. Welcome back, motherfuckers. It's the Good Ole Gamers podcast. I'm Lyle McClendon. I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Brandon Gentry.
Hey, go fuck yourself, Mike.
Hey, go fuck yourself, Brandon.
Who are also joined with Mr. Mike Daniel. I can't even talk. Mike McDaniels?
That's
say,
me.
Say
No
hi.
S.
Say hi.
I am Mike McDaniel. No S.
McDaniel, yeah. I need to keep drinking whiskey and beer. And
What did you
I
get
know.
fucked up that one time? Miami Mike? Or
Miami Mike.
No,
That's
Miami
it.
Daniel.
The Google.
Miami Daniel.
Yeah, the Google.
Miami Daniel.
The Google translation on Google Voice for him was Miami Daniel. And, like, I didn't think about it before downloading. I just read it, and I'm like...
That's it.
I
So,
just imagine some asshole somewhere was like, hey, guys, this is fucking Miami Daniel. He wouldn't sound like that.
so if you call
Hello,
the show,
senor, this is fucking Miami Daniel.
when you call the
I
show
come
and
to
you leave your
Bartender.
name, you never know what the Google Voice is going to
No.
give you as a name. So if you want a nickname on the show, you just got to call in, and then you get one. That's how I got mine. I'm Miami Daniel, damn it.
That's all you got to do. We, back with you again. It is now March the 5th. We're going to do this March the 4th. I heard that. And all that jazz.
I forgot to get a voicemail lined up, so y'all keep on. I'm going to get this downloaded.
Okay. But, anywho, how's everybody doing? How you doing?
It's good. We're here at the Good Ole Gamers Switch release party.
Yeah, which was a total bust.
It was awesome, man.
No,
we
it was
had
cool.
we
Hot
had
dogs and peanuts.
Hey, it was fucking delicious.
there was giant sausage and beer. Who could want more?
I put plenty of wiener in my mouth.
Yes, Brandon did. I helped him shovel some in there.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that. I'm quite proud of it, actually. So, taunt as you will.
We all got together tonight to try to come up with, I guess, opinions on the new Nintendo Switch and all that we will get to in the meat of the show. But pretty well going to be a Nintendo-centric episode, I suppose, and all that jazz. Because we are now officially, by the time you're hearing this, living in the age of the Nintendo Switch.
This is the age of the Switch.
So
On the sideline,
You know.
still a party goer. We got Josh.
yeah,
still
we got
hanging with
Josh
us.
Childers still hanging with us. He's sitting over on the couch. Say a long distance hello. Yeah. Everybody else flaked out because they're pussies. Actually,
It was
no.
fun though.
It was fun.
It was a good party.
It was good.
It was.
Now it's only past midnight. We are definitely
it's
into
almost
the
2.
next day.
It's almost 2 a.m. right now. It is 1:39. Year of Emperor Trump or whatever. What was that? Oh.
Psychotic ex-girlfriend not calling me up 5 minutes from here.
Yep.
So experience with the Zelda, by far, Lyle, I think, has the most playtime with, what is it called? Girls Gone Wild. What is it?
Breath of Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah. So what are your impressions?
I
of this
killed
game?
a homeless beach bum earlier, and he dropped a broken weed pipe that you have to get other pieces to fix later on, and 2 shrooms that I ate and made Link react violently, or Dink, not Link, excuse me, Dink. And,
the androgynous gendered.
He was trying to figure out which bathroom to piss in when he dropped his shrooms, and he got really freaked out and accidentally walked over the edge of a cliff without his paraglider.
So I'm seeing that all, and I mean literally all, websites are giving this thing amazing reviews. Nothing below 9. I'm seeing like 9 out of 10 is the lowest thing that I've seen it get. It's got nothing below that. So how would you rate this game as a video game as a whole on a scale of 1 to 10?
Pretty up there. I want to wait and talk about that during the meat.
Oh,
of the
okay,
episode,
okay.
'cause that's going to be like my topic discussion for the night. I guess, though, being that it is the beginning of the episode, you got news?
I ain't got any news. What about you?
The Switch is launched. That's literally, I think that's about it.
The only news I have that pertains to me is covered on the last show, and that's Castlevania is getting an animated series, and Adi Shankar is the guy that's going to be directing it, and I got an interview lined up with that guy. I'm so excited to see it. So a couple of months down the road, maybe. Well, if they just search for the Bloodstained Community Broadcast on YouTube or anywhere else in any kind of podcast catcher, it'll find it. But yeah, in a couple of months, I'll be talking with the director of the animated Castlevania series, and hopefully it'll be great. This guy is, like, I got to be honest, when I line up people for interviews on a podcast, he has been the most professional, courteous, and attentive person, like, I've ever worked with. So I'm extremely excited. Like, I'm kind of biased at this point. The guy's so nice. I think, like, even as a huge Castlevania fan, I'm just kind of biased because I think this guy's... I want to be a fan of him because he's just, like, so approachable to me. So I don't know if that compromises the interview or whatever, but I'm kind of a fan at this point. But yeah, I definitely look forward to talking to him, seeing how that goes. Because, you know, how often is it when a video game actually, like, gets some kind of movie or animated series or whatever that actually turns out well? Very, very kind of rare.
That's the only thing that really... The only thing that's kind of disappointed me about the whole thing is I thought it was live action.
No. Actually, the script for it started out as live action. Warren Ellis is the man that writes the script.
I'm not like trashing on it that it's animated. I'm a fan of animated shit, and I understand the fact that there's certain things within the bounds of Castlevania that it would be much easier for them to do being animated.
Sure,
but my main reason for letdown is I want to actually see a video game live action adaptation that is so fucking good that it, you know, kind of like, I hate to reference them, but kind of like how Marvel finally did. You know, you never seen a fucking Marvel movie up until, like, the first X-Men, the first Spider-Man 2 movies come out, and they were moderately successful, and then the fucking floodgates opened. You know, bullshit fucking Marvel characters now even
not
get
just
their own
Marvel,
goddamn...
but even DC.
Comic books
like
in general.
So
Movies
comic books is the thing now to do.
That's
to turn
what I'm saying.
Into a movie.
Like, a good live-action video game adaptation could open the doors where it would shift away from them making a fucking new superhero movie every 3 months, and then, you know, to actually making good video game movies.
Well, that was one of the things Addy asked on his Facebook was, do you think that this could open the floodgates if it's actually successful and Castlevania turns into a good animated series? Do you think that video games becoming some kind of series could open the floodgates for Netflix or anyone else picking up some kind of animated series or movies? Could this be the beginning of video games getting into mainstream media?
By all means, it very well could be. I think because you look at movies, and TV series, all that shit emulates each other. Like you see on Netflix, like when Stranger Things or something like that comes out, for example, you see like a sci-fi driven show that comes out that's uber successful. Like something that's really successful and transcending other shit. You're going to see 50 fucking sci-fi shows come out.
So is that gold rush a good thing though?
And not necessarily. I mean the quality of it needs to be the good thing.
Yeah, the quality.
I'm
is the
pretty
thing.
well against live action shit for video games at this point. I don't think it's going to happen, and I'm tired of seeing all the fuck ups.
I agree. It's mixed, man. Like that's what I'm saying. I could see where the animated movies they could do more.
My opinion is that they're going to make them live action. They need to make them so bad they're good, like Mario.
What do you think about a live action Berserk?
I would cut my dick off. It hasn't had a good anime adaptation.
Has anyone seen the Assassin's Creed movie? I haven't.
No.
Don't plan on it, really.
Yeah, I heard it was dog shit.
I hate it because I really like Michael Fassbender. But
man, he was Prometheus and shit. That guy's great.
Not get behind anything. Assassin's Creed just doesn't fucking interest me.
Me
I've got 2 of the games, and even then, I'm just like,
It's parkour with knives. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I like the second one. I haven't enjoyed any other one, but yeah, I'd like to see video games. I think it's just that video games is a different type of media. It's so interactive. I think that the stories that you can tell and the time that you get to spend with a video game is a lot different than you get with any other kind of media. So it has its strengths, and like Ghost in the Shell, it started out as a manga. It had great like old school anime movies. It's had its own series, like anime series. Now it's going to have a live action movie. All of these things, it doesn't matter where it started out as. It just depends on what are the strengths of the media that you want to tell the story and use the strengths in that media to like really push an idea forward. And, it doesn't matter where it starts. It matters what you do with it. If you can do something interested with it, then do it. It doesn't matter if it's live action or not. So as much as I think that this Ghost in the Shell movie is going to suck for fans of the series, maybe it's good. Maybe I'm just biased, but it could start. Yeah, it's going to suck.
What they ought to do?
It's going to fucking suck.
They ought to rebooted it with a guy playing the lead.
Well, it's RoboCop with a woman now. That's what it is. Yeah. It's like, hey, it's never
Paul
been.
Feig should have directed it too.
I'm a huge Ghost in the Shell fan, and I like Ghost in the Shell, but it's never focused on, hey, we've stolen your identity, and now, like, oh, we've made you this cyborg, but now you're working for us, and we've made you our slave. Like, that's fucking RoboCop. We've seen that movie. That's not what Ghost in the Shell has ever fucking been, so why are you doing it now? Why are you going to call it Ghost in the Shell if that's what you're going to do with it? Anyways,
maybe they should put a dude in it, make a bunch of dick jokes, and just call it Ghostbusters in the Shell.
One of the things I think that kind of works against it is when it comes to animes and video games and even books to a larger degree. The original media formats take so long to consume, and they're in the right form, and they have to condense it down into like an hour and a half movie. Whereas comic books, you can read the whole fucking comic book in 5 minutes. So they have plenty of time to fill in all the normal ups and downs that you would need in a movie, and they don't have to truncate near as much shit.
Yeah.
So I imagine you start cutting down these long-ass series or books or whatever into a small movie that it starts becoming a disjointed piece of shit, and you just got to change stuff to try to make it make any sense.
Yeah.
Here's a really good question to ask, I guess, since we're kind of on the topic of like movie, video game shit. Have either one of y'all ever actually seen a good video game adaptation movie? Like a good one?
No,
There hasn't been. I was sitting there trying to wrap my brain. I'm like, there hasn't been
like
one,
even
I don't think.
no, extend that to animated series. Even like Final Fantasy had
Spirits Within.
No, not just Spirits Within. They had a legitimate like anime created for that, and I didn't
the new
dig
one.
It. No, it's old school.
Okay,
but I've never seen even an animated feature of a video game series that I was like a huge fan of. It's always been the video game is better than any other media.
Now Sonic had some decent cartoons for a while. But there's nothing I could rave about. But
is that like Rule 34 Sonic or
no? Just like Saturday morning cartoon Sonic.
Oh, I missed all that apparently.
Fuck, I love the old Nintendo cartoons, even though they're awful.
Oh yeah,
looking back in retrospect.
Captain N and the Game Master.
Yeah.
What used to get on my nerves about that though is how Mega Man was like the weird colored. He wasn't like blue.
Yeah,
And he talked like this right here.
my kids still watch the fuck out of Mario World, the animated series. So I mean, there's some decent stuff. There was some decent stuff.
Mario Super Show, man.
Yeah, Mario Super Show where it had like Ron Jeremy and the Mario Shoot dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
Captain.
Didn't they say fucking that?
No,
I think that
I don't think so.
Dude's name was like Lou Albano or something.
I don't know.
Let's do the Mario.
Yeah,
I know that song. I can hear it in my head right now.
That dude that played Luigi, man, like
God, he's seen some rough shit.
that guy's mustache, like he's got that huge mustache. And I bet you if you just were to go up and thump his mustache, at least a gram of cocaine would just like drop out of it. Like I'd be like, "Damn, Luigi!" He's like, "I've been cleaning the pipes. And by cleaning the pipes, I'm cleaning my pipes in my nose with this high grade blow. It flushes the valves."
Oh, fuck you! I'll cuck your wife.
I said, "Fuck you, Mario. Watch me bang her tits." That's dirty.
The fire flower gave me the herpes. Now it burns when I pee.
She like it when I eat this red mushroom before I come into the bedroom. It makes it grow.
Makes his mushroom grow.
Dark territory we've ended off in, like usual.
Now, video game porn. There's some pretty good ones I hear.
I seen that advertisement for the Pokemon one, and that shit is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like some girl trying to be hot dressed up as Pikachu, and I'm like, this ain't working, man. Like, bitch gonna shoot some lightning out of her snatch here in a minute. You gonna regret that shit. Oh, Ash, cook 'em. Pokemon go deep.
Freakachu.
Blastoise.
Bulbasaur.
King of
No, you don't want any Bulbasaurs.
Ugh. Yeah, probably need to stop talking about that. So what are we going to talk about? Switch?
Yeah, the Nintendo Snitch.
I guess that's the main reason we're recording
the Switch
tonight.
Switch review episode.
Yep. Switch review / Zelda Breath of the Girls Gone Wild review, I guess.
/ Bomberman.
So yeah, / Bomberman. The only we got to play 3 games for the Switch.
Yeah.
We got to play
half the library.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild, Super Bomberman R, and Fast RMX, which is like the sequel to Fast Racing Neo. Who will start? I don't
know, man. I got lucky. I won first place in all of those games before I passed off the controller. But as far as like the racing game, what's it called now?
Fast RMX.
Okay, so
Fast Remix, I think.
The premise of this is like it's a racing game like F-Zero, but it's mixed with like a
it's
Guitar
supposed to be
Hero.
like the spiritual successor to F-Zero.
Wipeout and Extreme G.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and Wipeout. Yeah, but you press the you can't say the Y button or the whatever because
it's switched.
Yeah, Brandon, what is the major problem with the Joy-Con controllers here that we noticed?
It's smaller than my dick.
And
it's pretty damn small.
And we noticed it's like, hey dude, which button do you press to do the thing?
You actually need the arms of a gnat to hold the controller.
Yeah, they're tiny, and the face buttons are they have different letters and stuff on
Instead
them.
of the Joy-Cons break off from the standard control into 2 separate controls, and instead of having a D-pad on one, it's 4 fucking round buttons, just like in the same pattern. I don't know how to explain it.
It's got a joystick and 4 face buttons. The classic diamond layout.
But the left Joy-Con isn't labeled A, B, X, or Y.
Yeah, it's up, down,
directional.
left, right.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, how do you do this? I'm like, press the top button because there's no. Oh wow!
It's like
That's a
Y
good
on
thing,
one,
though,
and
because-
it's like 2 on the other.
Something about it though, a lot of people didn't notice earlier because everybody's wanting to play it, not really paying attention. If you look on there though, it tells you clearly, like it shows an icon of the Joy-Con being held sideways, and the button that you're supposed to press blinks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
it
a
kind of guides you through
a
it.
geographical location of it that it shows you. It doesn't actually tell you button number or letter
Yeah,
this
it's
or
just-
that.
It lights up the
Also,
button.
I'm pretty sure that the Joy-Cons are like they exist in the 5th dimension because they're asymmetrical, and every time you get one, it's on a different side of the controller. It's
Right.
like it shouldn't be possible.
Hey,
like
but
there should
either-
only be two configurations, but somehow there's at least 4 fucking configurations.
Right,
I don't
'cause
understand
in
it.
one-
Well, it's
well-
just a goddamn mathematical oddity.
We had 2 switches here tonight,
It's
so
a
we had
Mobius strip.
we had 4 Joy-Cons all connected to the same thing. And if you've got like the Player 2 one, if you're just having like one switch, the D-pad, it's not really even a D-pad. It's all analog stick.
Yeah, it's
like you don't get a D-pad.
No.
But the analog stick is in the middle of the controller.
yeah.
And even if it's not, even if you got the one-player one that's over to the left, your thumbs are touching either way.
Yeah. It's I don't know, they came right out of the Twilight Zone. I don't understand how every time you get a Joy-Con, the configurations change somehow. This time the analog stick's on the fucking back of the thing. I don't even understand.
When I was playing with the controller all hooked together, where it was just one player, it wasn't really an issue. Like, for the size of the controller, it actually felt kind of comfortable. I mean, I wouldn't compare it to any other game system controller because I think it'd be unfair because, honestly, they're probably built for comfort. But, like, if you break them off, they get a lot smaller, and they are definitely not as comfortable. Even
don't-
if you,
but they're
we
not
even had
bad.
the thingies
I was gonna say,
slide
to
on
me,
there.
it's not like just so fucking uncomfortable.
Right,
that you
it's
can't-
not
'cause
terrible.
It like Brandon pointed out, they're about the same size of the
8-bit
Bluetooth.
Zero controller I
and
brought in.
that's a very comfortable controller for the size of it.
Fits
and-
on a keychain.
Like I didn't really have as much of a problem like with the analog stick or anything. I don't like the layout of like the start and select button because it
Yeah.
was really easy for me to like just accidentally click that shit in the middle of like a hectic Bomberman match or something,
Right.
Well,
Especially
in
like 4
Bomberman, you only
players.
need your analog stick and one button. That's how they play that game.
2 buttons actually.
Oh, really? Because
For
you're
the
at an
only-
advantage there. I
Well,
didn't realize
no,
you could do something.
I told you all that earlier, but
You can
nobody
pick
was
it up.
fucking listening. There's one pickup, the boxing glove pickup.
The muff puncher.
The muff puncher uses a different. It uses the button on the left side directly across
Opposite.
from the bomb button.
Oh, yeah, he can't name a button because
Yeah.
it would be something different on one controller versus the other.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even going to try to explain that. If somebody's too fucking
Yeah,
stupid to understand
It's
that,
the
like,
left button.
how in the fuck do you figure out what a podcast is? Like,
Yeah, the face buttons change every time. This time it's the fucking Delta button. No, this time it's the fucking Lambdoid
this
button.
thing's got a touchpad. Where'd this come from?
It's east. Use the east button.
Yes.
Hey, don't. Make sure the cat don't get out. Sorry, somebody was entering and exiting my home. But anyways, I liked it. I like it so far. I mean, we've only played 3 games though. So
I will
mean-
say it's convenient that out of the box is essentially got 2 controllers for multiplayer.
See that's what I do like about it. Is because Nintendo, they've been very vocal about the fact that they're wanting to bring back the local multiplayer aspect, and that's what the Switch is going to be best for.
I hope
is
they
being
really do
able
that
to,
because
like-
that's something that's sorely missing in modern gaming. Is local co-op or competitive.
I don't even mind the notion of like playing fast RMX. It's split screen 4-player.
Well, hey,
Do
that's
not
fine, but
mind.
how the fuck did you connect all those controllers? Because that was not obvious to me.
It's pretty easy once you click the home button, and when you click the home button, it brings up a controller option at the bottom. And if you want to, for example, assign it to where both Joy-Cons work on the pad to be one controller, it'll tell you. It'll be like to sync them horizontal. It'll be like hold it horizontal and click the SL and the SR button, which is the
What?
small L and R buttons when the Joy-Cons turn sideways.
I don't know,
And
man. We had 4
it's
players
not fucking
going.
rocket science. It's a controller that breaks down into 2. To sync it into 1, you hit the top 2 shoulder buttons at the same time. To sync it into 2, you turn it sideways and hit the shoulder buttons on each individual controller.
Yeah, but
And
when
it
Nathan had his Switch too, and he was bringing his Joy-Cons into it.
That's because Nathan put his Switch into my dock, and my controllers weren't synced to his Switch. And that's really fucking easy too. To me, that was easier than hooking up shit to a Wii, because all you got to do, like if you buy a Switch and come over here and want to play it, and we want to sync your Joy-Cons, all I got to do is take mine out of the Switch, and you go and click them down into the tablet part, and it automatically syncs them up. That's it.
So on the racing game, for a second there, like I was the one controlling the setup of the match, how it goes, and all of a sudden, like it was Nathan. It was like completely different person, like controlling the setup of this stuff.
That's because
so I was like,
when
okay,
you
well,
were-
let's just switch. Like I didn't mean like switch, but I mean like let's just trade controllers so you can control this because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I just want to play. I don't want to like set up a match, but like it made me do it at first, and I traded it off, and then like it switched that again. Like it didn't keep whoever was control at the beginning contain the control of it.
That's that fifth dimension shit.
The only problem I've had with the Switch so far, other than the left Joy-Con kind of giving me an issue on Zelda, like running for a while, I noticed Link just tore off to the left and just randomly was running left, and I wasn't even touching the fucking analog stick.
Huh.
Well, you
And
do
I-
have an aquarium.
You do have an aquarium.
I didn't
Nintendo
even
says-
hear fucking nothing about that until you brought that.
Yeah, Nintendo
today.
says aquariums, wires, and electronics will fuck your shit up, which I think is really fucked up considering you're guaranteed to have 2 of them things.
Wires and electronics?
Yes.
Like at your television, maybe?
Yes.
I was unaware the Nintendo Switch was made out of leaves and stones.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like,
you got to plug it into a goddamn like cardboard box or some shit, or fucking lean-to like on Aqua Teen the movie.
you're really good at this game. Your friend is terrible, though. Well,
He's dead.
But that, and I did have it lock up on me last night. Bomberman, trying to get an online match of Bomberman set up. I clicked local multiplayer and didn't mean to. And when I clicked it, it went to the connecting screen. I immediately tried to back out, and as soon as I tried to back out, it fucking locked up. And I had to go and like physically power the Switch off to get it to turn off, and then back on.
Have you played anything online with other
Yes,
people?
yeah.
Yeah.
I played Bomberman for about 2 hours the other night. Great. I got on right off the bat. I mean, I like it. I don't think the Switch is is something I would just be like, you got to drop
you have to
every
have it.
fucking thing now to go get it. It's a great. I like it so far, but being with the limited amount of games and shit out, like Brandon said earlier, the games are what's going to end up determining the fate for that motherfucker.
Absolutely.
As with every system.
As
That's what it
with
should
every.
be with.
But you know, like,
And one thing I know is it's rumored that Nintendo's gonna be doing VR with this thing. They just need to fucking drop that. That's not their forte. They're not the bleeding edge cutting
and that
line
shit,
system.
that shit's so
It's a fucking.
It's
fad.
like fucking 3D movies are popular in the 80s. 3D movies were popular like fucking 4 years ago. How many movies do you still see being released in fucking 3D now?
Not many.
You know, the ones that are coming out, they're movies made expressly.
So
Pretty much for
you
the
don't think
purpose
that
of
VR is the future of gaming?
No, it's too inconvenient. I mean, it's cool. I really enjoyed it.
It
but
still goes back to the fact that the PCs have existed just as long as consoles have. You know, I don't know. There's certain people I don't think that are just not going to want to spend the money for VR. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
And
Yeah,
not, even
it's a
if
huge
VR gets
jump to
cheaper,
price
though,
into
there's
that.
you know, I don't know why there's still certain people that just swear off like hiring shit. They're like, oh, I can get a PC. I'd rather have the Xbox One. You know,
Yeah,
that makes
technophiles get into VR right now.
once I got like I got spare time to enjoy it, I'm probably going to pick up a Vive, and I'll enjoy the VR. I like the VR, but it's not something like I come home at the end of the day and I just want to play a fucking game. I'm not going to get on VR.
I don't see VR having a game that I'm going to want to sink 60 fucking hours into.
No. It's cool experiences,
maybe.
But I think VR is really going to take off in the workforce, because what a fucking amazing way to get training on all kinds of shit. But games, I think it's going to be a novelty for a long fucking time.
The only I know the PlayStation VR is doing really fucking well right now, but
well, Resident Evil would be the benchmark for that. Like, I know that that's available both in 2D and VR. Well, in VR, but most people's experience with that has been outside of VR.
Yeah,
I couldn't wear a VR setup for more than like an hour or two.
I get motion sick really
It
easily.
wouldn't even be the motion sickness. Just having that fucking gear on for so long.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the and I don't mind getting up to do shit, but a lot of the joy of video games is being
Sitting
able
on
to
your
sit on my
ass.
fat ass. And,
Well, you can sit on your fat ass in virtual reality.
Yeah, but I mean,
then you lose part of it too, though. It's no longer like the Vive experience, which was amazing because you got to walk around in it. But
the whole part of being in VR is to be subjected to an alternate virtual reality, and like playing a game where you're having to turn and shoot fucking zombies and shit. You're not going to sit on your ass during a zombie invasion. You know what I mean? Like, so
I don't know. I think I'll be a little more on to VR whenever we get like the Star Trek hologram thing where you just walking in a room and it's like, boom, you're there. No fucking gear or anything, but that's never going to happen. So,
like, remember the old PlayStation 9 commercial where they just opened that little thing
yeah,
and then held
make you
those?
hallucinate.
Yeah.
Well, if anything's going to push VR forward, it will be the military or porn. Yeah. It'll be porn.
I could see it, even though that I don't want to do VR porn myself because I don't know. It's hard enough to fucking do without getting caught anyways. Much less want to have a giant.
Now you got a helmet. You can't see when
like,
somebody's
I'm blindfolded and jacking off.
Well,
this is a bad idea.
Yes.
He needs to come down just a little bit.
I'm sorry.
He's peeking.
It's fine.
But yeah. I just could you imagine like putting somebody's VR helmet on and they forgot to close the porn out and the first thing you see is like some titties bounce your face and you instantly have that realization. You're like, oh, this dude's been touching his meat wearing this helmet.
The VR smells like fish.
Smells like shrimp.
Uh,
I know it's a little foggy in here. It looks like there's a film over there.
But yeah, it's going to continue seeing a lot of use in workforce and military and that kind of thing. Virtual tours, I know, like being able to tour a house across country that you might be wanting to buy, that would be pretty goddamn awesome. So you don't have to fly the fuck out there. You can just walk around it in VR. I could see shit like that happening, but games, I don't know if it's going to get much beyond novelty stuff. Stuff you play just for a little bit. I couldn't imagine like a Final Fantasy in VR. That'd just be so miserable.
Yeah, true. It definitely it fits certain genres in video games better than it does others.
Racing, oh my god, a good racing or like pilot game, like a
pilot game would be
like a Star Citizen type thing. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but any kind of old school like side scrolling thing is not going to work in VR.
No.
And there's still plenty of great games to be had in that kind of genre.
Yeah. The thing about the racing stuff is those are games that are meant to sit down and play. So you're sitting in a cockpit or a driver's seat or something.
Yeah, simulator type games. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Simulate that. I mean, that's the best use for VR. Is anything
if you were a goat
simulation.
and you wanted to simulate being a goat, VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck a bunch of goat simulator. Get the VR goat.
I tried that for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, this game looked kind of cool. Then I realized it's just nothing but for YouTube stars to overreact to shit.
It's a broken piece of shit. Like, who in the fuck wasted enough time? Like, man, I'm gonna make a goat where a game where this goat's got these ragdoll physics and people let out terrible screams when you assault them. What the fuck? Like, what dope smoker come up with that goddamn idea? It's
every one of the YouTube like runaway hit things that nobody plays but everyone watches some asshole play is all like some kind of ragdoll physics game.
Well, like fucking Iron Bread.
Yeah,
That is the stupidest shit, man.
See, like all of the video games that everyone's imagined, like, man, if I can make a video game, this would be my life, like, passion. Like, if I can make this one game, and then someone comes up with I Am Bread, and they just take your whole idea that you could have done and shit all over it because here's the popular game, I Am Bread. So, yeah, the epic fantasy game that you had with RPG Maker or whatever, just flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
Make a VR game like I Am Bread.
Yeah, it's bleh. But anyway, hey, we're talking about the Switch, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So
How's it taste?
Fast racing.
Terrible.
Was why do they have to make it complicated? Fast racing Neo was simple.
Fast RMX.
Fast RMX.
Fast Remix, I think.
Okay.
What it stands
Well,
for.
I don't know. I only played one track of it.
It's fun, but it plays
just like the first
exactly
one.
like Fast Racing.
Which isn't
Neo.
bad. The first one was great, but I'm like, you could add something here. Add some weapons in here. I mean, you can make it toggleable, turn them on or off. That's one of the things I love about Extreme G is the weapons.
You know something I think would be really cool in Switch? They ought to bring that new fucking Cruising Blast on Switch, like a Cruising USA or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. It was fun, but I mean, it's just like the first one. Graphic wise, I couldn't even tell that big of an improvement.
I couldn't tell any improvement.
Between them.
I would have, if you said that's on the Wii U, I would be like, yeah. That's
I'm
on the Wii
assuming
U.
there's only so much you can do with a game though that renders and goes that fucking fast, non-stop. You know,
a lot of the
you're not going to be sitting there savoring every little detail and shit when you're flying by it at fucking 500.
A lot
plus.
of the graphical appeal in that game comes from the blur effect.
Yeah,
I mean, it really makes you feel like you're going faster than you really are.
Yeah, like the light trails and shit. It's a big deal, especially like in the boost modes. I mean, it's all right.
Yeah,
Super Bomberman R. I've had pretty good fun with multiplayer.
I had a lot of fun with it. At the same time, it's Bomberman.
It's Bomberman.
Like, there's nothing really new or great about it. I mean,
The
other
story-
than that, it's Bomberman.
The story mode gets pretty interesting because there's some actually really fun boss battles.
Really?
But like,
There's bosses?
yeah, like for example, World 2. I think it's World 2. You go all the way through, and you get to like 1-9 or 2-9. And you actually fight a evil Bomberman, and it takes one. It takes one bomb to kill them, just like it would you or another player. But their movements, like for example, the first guy you come across, he has a magnet ability, and he'll drop 2 bombs over here, and he always makes perfect movements to where you're dropping your bombs. There's no blocks or nothing in there. I mean, there's the blocks, but there's no blocks you have to blow up. It's just,
I got you.
things to take shelter behind, to not get caught in the blast. And pretty much, he'll throw a bomb here and move around your shit, and then he'll run right up behind you and use his magnet pull and just pull the bomb right to you, and it'll blow up as soon as it gets to you. But you land one and get him, it'll kill him, and it'll piss them off, and they'll turn into a super form. Usually they'll get in a big robot. And like there's one where you're just on a big overhead map, and it's just open floor, and this robot has 4 legs, and you have to bomb each of these legs at a time and get them down on the ground, then run up and bomb the head. Just little shit like that. And it's kind of fast-paced, but I thought it was fun. The only problem you have with that is like, some of the bosses are so huge, it kind of does the Smash Brothers thing. Like the camera pans out really fucking
it's
far.
hard to see where you
and
are.
pans back in, and you lose where you're at. Really,
One
fucking
thing
easy.
that the system really lacks for Bomberman game is D-pads. D-pads are so much better for Bomberman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's got I mean, all you got is the analog. So how are you? Okay, so it's a Konami game, but how are you supposed to enter in the Konami code with up, up, down, down, left, right?
This
left,
is
right?
the-
If you got a
Very
damn
carefully.
analog stick.
I'm pretty sure this is the first Konami Bomberman game.
Did they not do the original?
No.
Most of them been Hudson.
Hudson.
Huh.
Yep.
Maybe they absorbed them. Bought them as a company.
They need to make some Bomberman Pachinkos. So
Yeah, that's probably coming next.
God.
I really miss Bomberman 64. one of my favorites because it was so unique. Like
Bomberman 64 is highly underrated.
It is. Even the story mode being a 3D like adventure type thing. I mean, I know it had its issues. It wasn't the greatest thing, but I had so much fun, like 100%ing that game.
The Bomberman 64 2, the second attack is actually about the same.
Yeah,
but if you were to have a copy of it, I'd hold on to it.
I think it's pricey.
It's about $150, $200 game.
Because I think it came out really late, and then they just pulled the plug on it.
Yeah, I actually almost had my hands on one not too long ago, and some little cock goblin snatched it out from underneath me.
The battling on Bomberman 64 was unique in that they used more of the 3D of the N64. I guess because it was new, they had to do 3D.
Yeah,
but the levels are like more multi-tiered, and you could.
There was a lot of bosses that were multi-tiered.
Yeah.
You know, you have to throw the bomb up to hit a weak point, and you have to time that shit just right.
And on this one, you could pump up your bombs to get those massive ass bombs and throw them, and they blew up a larger area. And their explosions, I think, were more like radially versus in all the other Bombermans, they go in lines.
Directional.
So I'd like to say I'd have seen something like that come back some, but I mean I was pleased with it. It's Bomberman.
So that's one thing I was hoping that I hope they kept it simple. Did you ever play Bomberman Zero on Xbox 360?
No.
Did you ever see it?
No.
Oh my god, dude. After we record, I need to show you some YouTube videos. You need to look. They attempted to do a grown-up, gritty, dark-ass bomber. Oh, and it is just as fucking horrible as you can imagine.
An Al-Qaeda member?
He looks like Iron Man. God. He looks like Iron Man with a big gun.
Are they strapping bombs to children and sending them into, like, populated places or something?
We can only hope.
Gritty bomber, man. That's terrible.
It's pretty bad. Like one of the missions
like
has
in the
never
Super
mind.
Bowl,
I'm not going to say
Lady
that about
Gaga's trying to jump off the stage and then Bomberman's trying to blow up the Super Bowl.
It's just kind of like he's got his brother's like Bomberman Kaczynski. He's just living in his rural cabin and mailing professors he's pissed off at homemade bombs to blow their fingers off with.
But yeah,
what an asshole.
D-pads are so much better than Bomberman. That's something I noticed on my arcade cabinet. I got the Dreamcast Bomberman on there. I play a lot. And my first player controller has the 4-way switching joystick. So I can switch it to 4-way, and whoever has the first player joystick has an extreme fucking advantage because they can't get stuck in some weird-ass diagonal direction.
You can only move like the way of the maze.
Right. So analog sticks or even 8-way joysticks in the case of arcades aren't as good as 4-way or D-pad. So it'd been nice.
I ultimately just had to go, though, with Bomberman over 1-2 Switch.
Oh, definitely.
Because my whole reason for buying Bomberman, I wasn't even going to buy Bomberman, but like I told Emerald, I was wanting to have people over to try the Switch out and shit, and I'm like, that's going to be real motherfucking hard to get, the 2-player ability that this thing offers with Zelda. Or
because Nathan brought his, and we were actually playing 4-player pretty, like, that's the thing that we spent the most time on was Bomberman, not the racing game.
Yeah. And if you're a big fan of Bomberman and want to get good at versus right now online, it's the fucking time to do it.
There's already some pretty good motherfuckers online, I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, now would be the time to
because
hit the honeypot.
Because any other way is pretty much dead unless you know a bunch of people that get into Bomberman competitively. That's your only real way to hone your skills.
I had to mainly pick it up too, just because me and my grandpa growing up playing NES and shit. Zelda was, of course, always a big NES game, and my grandpa really liked Bomberman, and I've got his original copy of that shit right there. So that kind of, that was another deciding factor for me. It's like I'm getting a new Nintendo console with a new Zelda and a new Bomberman.
Bomberman's is so simple and fun. When I built my nieces and nephews their own little recall box, they just went across Dyna Blaster by pure accident. That's just what they picked, and that's the European Bomberman on NES. And man, they had a fucking blast with that. So
it's a great party game, man. Like that the 4-player. I've played the story mode and online, of course, but the local 4-player is the most fun I've had with that game. And that's the reason that game
And Bomberman,
was created.
even if
you
you're
know?
really great at it, it's so chaotic. Unless you're a fucking chameleon and can look in two different directions at the same time, shit can fuck you. So there's no like one asshole who's going to destroy everybody.
Yeah. Well, there's you said 4 players. Super Bomberman R can actually support 8.
Oh fuck that!
Once.
I've done that.
You talking about
Yeah.
hectic, hellish shit?
Yeah.
That'd be way too motherfucking
Yeah,
much.
Yeah,
done-
it's like I don't want to add a bomb to the screen. I'll just let everybody else do it. And try
It's
to
like
run.
8-player Smash Brothers. It's too fucking
Yeah.
much. 4 players is the max.
The other game, though, I figure we might as well get on to Breath of the Wild,
Yeah,
Legends of the New Zelda.
I'm
I'm
It's
in
good.
love. I'm in love with it.
I'm
right
not
now.
100%.
But does it
on
feel
board
like
with
a
everything.
Link, a Legend of Zelda game, or
Not
is it
really.
just- yeah. So what are they? What
In
are
ways it does, and in ways it doesn't.
so is old school Legend of Zelda dead? Will we never
okay.
see another one
Spoiler.
again?
Are you talking about story wise?
No, I'm
Or-
talking about gameplay, like overhead.
I
playing
think
Zelda.
that's going to stick on the handheld side of things, probably.
Yeah, because
But this is a handheld
Well,
game.
like 3DS type thing.
Will there be anything other than 3DS? Is the 3DS going to be the last Nintendo handheld?
Who fucking knows?
they did say they intended on keeping
I mean,
support for the 3DS.
they would be fucking stupid not to, as well as that thing is done. So
The 3DS is the 3DS is what's kept Nintendo afloat for
Yeah.
a minute now. It hadn't been the fucking Wii U.
no,
I don't. Here's how, in my personal opinion, to stack it up among other Zelda games, I don't think that this is gonna full on. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. They may never make another Zelda game like Breath of the Wild. Just from the simple fact of, like, you look at how much different Ocarina and Majora's Mask was to Wind Waker. There's, graphically they were different, but pretty much they play the same, and then they release fucking Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and all that. Then they randomly release Link Between Worlds on 3DS, which was overhead,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to keep making Zelda games, and I think each one of them is going to be kind of different. Because that's part of the charm of Zelda. Like, to me, the new shit they add in obviously the new mechanics and all the shit they add into the new Zeldas is what's giving it new life. To change it from the old ones. So
this is the biggest departure since Ocarina of Time.
oh yeah, and I mean it. In a way, it just kind of builds on what Ocarina of Time did, though, because
It does
that
in
was
a lot of ways.
That was one of the main things they touted with Ocarina of Time. I remember seeing a thing in GamePro. It was like, lose 60 pounds from wandering 5 to 6 days aimlessly in the huge Hyrule field. Ocarina was a huge fucking game when it come out.
Yeah,
And I remember being like, oh my God, man, it takes you like 10 minutes to walk across the fucking map.
yeah. Versus 5 seconds on NES.
Yeah, not fucking happening in this new one. Like, dude, Breath of the Wild the map is so fucking huge.
I think at some point, though, it kind of loses a little bit of what made Zelda what it was. Because in Zelda, you always knew, like, what you really need to do. And what little I played is like, well, I'm wandering around.
Nah, this one's pretty good about that. Like,
Is it?
It does like the Skyrim thing. You got your main quest and your side quests and all that, but you always have a little beacon on your map that shows on your main quest where to go
beacons.
to.
I
Next.
saw a beacon that was like a yellow pulse and
The yellow pulse
and a red one.
The red one I set. You can set
okay.
pins on your map just like on Sky markers and shit. The
I
yellow
see.
beacons flash and tell you where to go. It won't, like, the map won't show the details of the map. It'll be clouds and you'll just see the beacon. And then when you actually travel to that area and cross it, like in other Zelda games, the fucking blank space will be filled in with that part of the map once you actually go across that screen, I guess. And like when you, for example, if you've got to walk way the fuck over here and talk to this woman to do something, you haven't been there yet, you won't see it on the map, but you go and talk to her and come out, the whole part of the map will be unlocked from doing that.
So I know you mentioned Skyrim. What really kind of sets this, aside from it just being the Nintendo property of Zelda, what makes it an innovative game that we haven't seen before?
Just the fact that they're trying to give, I think, Zelda players like a more grown-up Zelda, like they've wanted.
But no. Aside from the IP, like, is there any is there anything that, like, when we saw Skyrim, it was like, wow, the world's so open. It's like you go to these things, you do this stuff. Like,
I got you.
What is the thing that makes Zelda the new one? Yeah, what sets it apart from other games that we've seen?
The puzzle solving, from what I've seen. I mean, it's not to say other games don't have puzzle solving, but in this type of an open world type game, that puzzle solving's not there. Skyrim, you just go through there and either level up or swing your sword around. You're going to do it.
Yeah, it's a dungeon crawler. Like Skyrim's definitely a dungeon crawly type thing. There's the puzzles are very simple. It's like find this thing. Oh, the combination of this safe was it was on the back of the Dragon Claw or whatever.
It's all like fetch quest type
I kind of think that Brandon saying that sums it up perfectly, because that is one thing that sets all the Zelda games apart.
Yeah, they've always
Zelda's always been known for their notoriously difficult puzzles. I can say like one dungeon from Ocarina of Time, and it makes people. I can say it in Butterfly Effect somewhere across the world. Some guy's going to fucking just unleash a beating on his dick. He's just going to start punching himself in the crotch, puking on his wife, and she's going to be like, "Why are you doing this?" He's going to be like, "Water temple." Just fucking punching, fucking precisely. Like, that something about a level being so goddamn difficult that 20 years later it still makes people get fucking nervous talking about it. Like. And
it's easy to lose track of it because now with everyone having guides and game facts and shit.
Yeah,
but
you didn't have that shit.
No,
I mean you did,
not nearly as accessible.
Not back when it was Link to the Past.
Yeah, I was fixing look back to Link to the Past. Me and Brandon, we both beat Link to the Past as younger kids and all, and I remember one of the first times Brandon got a little bit further in the game ahead of me, Ganon's fucking basement. And, that's one of them things, you don't spend an hour just fucking around in there. You're not going to figure that shit out. And that's the thing about Zelda. Like, the Zelda puzzles are hard, but they're not so hard you can't figure them out. You just got to be willing to invest that fucking time through a lot of trial and error on shit.
So Zelda's embracing this thing that they've always been great at, which is a puzzle. A dungeon is a puzzle, and you have to have this new thing that you've got to kind of get through this puzzle. And they're just upping that with the things that make things like Skyrim great games.
Now, my favorite addition to this, though, is the combat. The combat is so much more in depth than it has been on any 3D Zelda.
The combat in this one is way more like Dark. I'm not saying it's exactly like Dark Souls.
It's not Dark Souls.
It's not
difficult.
Like that. No, but tact wise,
enemies kind of telegraph their attacks, and you got to read it and know when to strike. And the fact that you got more weapons than a bow and a sword. Like I was using a big ass hammer and a big ass club. I really like the heavy weapons because they felt like they had a lot of impact.
They're actually matched to what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they felt right, and it added a lot more depth to it. And almost all the 3D Zelda games I've played, it's pretty much a spam fest. You just go crazy with your sword, or at a boss you do a gimmick, and then you go crazy with your sword.
Well, all the Zelda enemies, too, and all the other Zelda games, it doesn't matter really at what point in the game you're at. You can go up and engage combat with one of them and be successful. Yeah. This one's not like that, like really at all, because, I mean, you can, but it's kind of like the Dark Souls thing. You kind of got to know how to fight a little bit before just running up into a fucking pack of moblins and attacking and shit, it encourages planning shit out ahead.
One thing I didn't like, and you bitched about it too, is how easily your weapons break, at least in the beginning.
That's what, I figure it'll be a different thing later on, but that's one thing that's really just
like you find a weapon you really like and you can't hold on to because
Even the fucking bows break, man. Like, you'll shoot an arrow at some point and it'll be like, your bow just broke.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the
and
fuck,
I'm assuming
man?
that's trying to get you to point you towards crafting, which I don't like. Like, crafting's cool.
I haven't figured
but
out,
I don't like
like-
to have to craft.
Well, I haven't figured out the weapon crafting. So I just figured maybe I'm not farther enough into the game yet to, open that aspect. I can craft with food and shit yet, but as far as weapons and all that,
Yeah, and the food
I'm not
aspect,
sure
too, it kind of cheapens the combat some, where you can just suck down a handful of apples and get your hearts back in the middle of mid-swing. You just press start and fucking suck down food, and then you're good.
But I mean, you can do that in other Zelda games if you're carrying around potions and shit.
Yeah, but there's really limited versus the huge amount of food you had.
Well, the food though too isn't just for hearts. That's one thing with the game. That's one thing I did like about it. Like, for example, the other night, you have to, at the very beginning of the game, which is oddly a lot like the original Zelda when it opens. And story-wise, while I'm just thinking about it, I'm pretty sure this game takes place after Ocarina of Time. I'm pretty sure, and I'll get to all that in a minute. But anyways...
Is he locked away in the Temple of Time?
Not necessarily, but kinda. Well, the whole deal is you find out what Calamity Ganon is, which is the form of Ganon in this one. Ganon has figured out a way to become so evil that instead of becoming man or monster, he has transcended that and is like a fucking force of nature. Ganon's become a god. And what they tell...
He's Gygas. He's the embodiment of evil.
Pretty much. At the beginning of this, they keep telling you the opening scene is this mystical fucking... They make the Sheikahs in this game, which were a big deal in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
The they're highly advanced. So they pretty much have, like, electronic... the thing Link carries in this game is called a Sheikah tablet. And it's just like this tablet...
it's his Nintendo Switch.
It's a Nintendo Switch that takes... ruins in the form of tiny bitter game carts.
You got to travel all across the land to find half of your game library of 3 games.
Yeah. Good luck.
What?
But it mind blown. Anyway, like the whole thing though with Ganon is when you wake up at the beginning of the game, the opening line is Link, open your eyes. And he's in like a fucking cryo sleep, essentially. Well, you get out and you don't remember shit, and this old man keeps telling you, he's like, getting you to run all these trials because he's going to give you that paraglider you got. And then he's like, well, you proved that you're actually the hero. He's like, well, you're worthy to know what happened here 100 years ago. And he shows you the Temple of Time, and the Temple of Time is all in fucking ruins and everything around it. And he says this is where the Castle of Hyrule once stood, and it was destroyed, and they built it further away, and then Ganon took it back over. And I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% on this, but from what I've got figured out so far, and spoiler alert here, I think it's after Ocarina of Time, because if you follow Ocarina of Time, it split out into 2 storylines from Ocarina. There was the storyline of Link as an adult failing to kill Ganon, and there's the one of him succeeding to kill Ganon as an adult, because if you kill Ganon in Ocarina of Time, your last wish that the fucking oracles or whatever grant you in Zelda is you go back to being a kid. You go back to being young Link.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure this picks up after the fact that Link dies fighting Ganon, because they tell Link, they're like, you were fighting Ganon, and Ganon delivered a mortal wound to you. And instead of us letting you die, Zelda urged us to bring you back and lock you in this.
We Walt Disney to you.
Yeah.
Throw you in cryo sleep so we can fix it.
Yeah, no shit. That's fucking creepy. I'm gonna make Steamboat Willie episodes in the year 3048. But they put Link back and pretty much tell you that everybody else dies, and Zelda actually takes Ganon on by herself. But it's kind of one of the like self-sacrifice thing. And I don't know, Zelda may still be alive, but I know at Link's essentially waking up from death 100 years prior. But
Another thing,
it gets pretty wild.
one thing I didn't like, well, I liked and I didn't like it. Some aspects of it, the stamina system. Running on foot, you can't run or swim very long. I did enjoy it for climbing. It made you think about how you climb.
Yeah, because there's multiple paths that you can take climbing shit.
Yeah,
with
so
ledges and-
you can't just climb everywhere because you run out of stamina and fall. So I like that. It made you think about it. But just running around and swimming, I'm like,
One thing I don't like is Link doesn't have a roll button. on
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, that was
And that
listen,
shit threw me for a loop because
Yeah, I kept trying to
rolling's,
roll during combat.
or the side jump. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're Z target on something, that it kind of exists, but it's not like Link doesn't side jump as fast or as nimble as he
Yeah.
used to. He kind of it's more of like a side step around.
And when you swing your weapon in this game, you're committed to it. So you got to think about before you press that attack
you
button.
can't run in there and just hack and slash. on
No, and
this
you
one.
can't just cancel out of a sword swing with a roll or anything like that, like you could in a lot of the old ones. You're swinging your weapon, and if you got a two-handed weapon, you're going to be there for a minute. So you can't just get your hits and get out before the enemy does his swing. You got to figure out his pattern and use any opening you can.
I like the multiple paths of doing everything. Like, for example, you'll sneak up on, I can't remember what the small, the moblins are the big ones. I think Boca Goblin or something like that's the smaller ones. Anyways, like, you can go up on their camp during the day and they'll be cooking and on guard and all that. And, for example, I went up last night and there was like 15 of them at this camp and I got killed. Well, I went up and noticed fire and I waited by the fire till nighttime and, past the time. When I went back out at night, they were all asleep. And what I done was sneak up and the one that's on the watchtower, I just like headshotted him with an arrow. Because if you sneak a sneak attack and kind of like every other RPG, in this one, a sneak attack and a headshot does
Auto crit.
critical right off the bat, And I killed him, and they have all these little explosive barrels around them. I got a fire arrow, and I just climb up there and just shoot that middle fucking barrel with fire arrow and kill all of them. I'm just little things like that make me happy. So I'm just like, fuck your family.
Like Solid Snake over here, like taking out the.
That is one thing I
lookout.
do like about the new Zelda. It's got a meter on it that is like a little, it's like a
Noise.
footstep noise meter. I love the stealth aspect of the Metal Gear games, and that's really fucking cool to me because it makes it a little more realistic, like
Yeah.
being able to sneak up on a horse to try to mount and tame instead of just like running up, trying to just jump on a goddamn horse and to no avail.
I hated that you couldn't kill horses because I really like to kill horses.
I was dropping major bombs on packs of horses earlier and nothing
They
happened.
do have the cock swarms though.
Yes.
Oh, you will get a fierce cuckolding from the cuckle or cuckoos, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Cuckolding.
Fucking
They
goddamn
will
chickens.
fuck your wife.
Oh yeah, dude, they will peck her shit to death. Nipples gone.
Yeah, I was like, look, Lyle, a chicken, and then we were all like, kill it, and then all of a sudden it like
4 hits.
and
They take 4 hits on this game, and that is fucking. I think they're just getting tired of it. They're like, this entire series, we've been made for nothing more than slaughter. And I'm just like, welcome to world. Maybe they need to start a KFC in the fucking in Hyrule. It's like HFC Hyrule fried chicken.
That's all they need to do.
Hyrule fried cuckold.
Ganon starts coming around strutting the shit. Just throw a bunch of chickens at him. He'll hit them, and then they'll fuck his world.
yeah. Pro tip for the Breath of the Wild: if you're hungry, eat mushrooms. Don't bother attacking chickens for chicken meat. This ain't Minecraft. It don't work like that.
Just walk around and eat all the shrooms you can find. Just if you go near Gerudo Valley, I'm pretty sure they have a Grateful Dead concert there. Take all your mushrooms there.
Another mention about how he can do things different ways. I remember once you were in a little apple orchard. You was wanting apples, and it was raining. You couldn't climb up the trees to get them. So I was like,
Brandon being the fucking RPG genius he is.
I was like, hit it with a hammer. He hits it with a big hammer, and fucking apples fall down. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, see, that was something I didn't know either playing earlier. Like, storms it's got a weather system.
Yeah.
And storms and shit randomly appeared. And like I was trying to climb a wall facing or a tree earlier, and it was like when a storm comes through, surfaces will be wet and you can't climb them.
No, it was kind of fucked that you couldn't climb a wet tree, but you make magical things of ice and you can climb that no problem. This big,
not supposed to notice that. I don't guess.
this big giant cubes of ice, climb them perfectly. You know it's smooth.
Not supposed to notice that. There was something that I was talking about the food crafting earlier. Like, certain types of food give you not just health, like certain bonuses.
Like, like oysters.
Yeah.
Here they make you randy.
Yeah, I do. A little aphrodisia. Nothing says I'm going to beat my wife's pussy to mush like sucking a bunch of snot out of a shell. Something about it gets me every time. Gets all the blood rushed to my dick. But
so you go from eating clam to pounding clam.
It's a vicious cycle. Anyways, like one of the shrines that you have to go meet for that old man is on top of like a cold mountain. You just run up to it, link, and like there's a temperature gauge on there too. And it'd be like, area's too cold. If you don't find warmth, you'll start losing health. Well, I couldn't figure out what to do. And Nathan was like, well, go around the backside and see if you can find an alternate way up where there's no snow. And there wasn't. But I started like looking around the area, and I was like, well, I'll just come back to it later. And I come up on a camp, and there's all kinds of hot fucking peppers and shit growing near these trees. Well, I was reading, and it was like, take the hot pepper and mix with a food, or mix it together and cook something. Whatever you eat, it gives you fucking cold resistance.
Huh.
Wow.
So you can eat it, and it gives you.
That's a chemical reaction. It has nothing to do with heat.
Once again, not supposed to notice that shit.
Okay.
I don't think Link was sitting around and he's like, if I inhale all the capsaicin out of this pepper, my farts will be enough to melt the stone.
It's like a mad meth scientist.
I got whiskey, therefore I am not going to die from the cold.
Yeah, they do make themselves more
true that. Aptly played.
They do make themselves more prone to these kind of criticisms, though, by trying to be more realistic. So there is a bit of that. The harder you try, the more you're going to fail at it.
Yeah. Like, why? Okay, if it's going to be a hot pepper, why not just make it like a bonfire or something you could take with you for a little while that keeps you warm?
A torch.
Yeah, a nice toasty torch.
You just douse yourself in gasoline, light yourself on fire, and run up the mountain.
It's called. One thing I saw on there that was cool is they were setting grass on fire. I thought that looked that looked great until you're in a drought, and then you can cause a big problem.
It can cause
Bambi's
some problems.
Mom dies.
Well, like we were playing the other night when I first got it, and that turns into a problem. There's one of the little goblin things come up on you, and they have a flaming spear. And when they run up on me, we're in a grass field, and every time they swing it, it would light the grass on fire. And if they chase you around in a circle, eventually they lit the complete area around us on fire, and we were like in the middle, and that shit ended up just kind of
dumbass moggling,
engulfing the fuck out of
Smokey the Bear needs to come out and whip their ass.
No shit. Only you can prevent.
Yeah, the game has an extreme like of being able to kill wildlife too. Same with the horses, but I just like to
you
kill
can
animals.
kill all the other wildlife. I think
I couldn't kill a fox.
Well, that Papal looking like Legend of Korra looking like fox thing was too adorable. Why would you even try to kill that?
Because adorable things have the sweetest looks on their face when you rip them apart.
I love killing wildlife. I love killing animals. It's the best. Yeah. And sometimes people, but
they can't prove anything.
No,
you're safe.
No, I
like tasting their flesh.
I just sat at home and twist kittens like I'm opening a bottle of soda.
Honey, I need some stress relief. Bring me one of the kittens out of the box in the back. I never tire of it.
He weren't bigger than a squirrel.
No, it wasn't, Carl.
I like taking little baby pinky rats and just throwing them up against the wall as hard as I can.
packing a potato gun full of them bastards.
You ever seen a squirrel get shot out of a potato gun? It's a magical thing, really.
Especially on the side of your neighbor's house.
Dude, we're going to get fucking castrated for talking like this. We don't really.
Or your neighbor's at least going to figure out what those marks on his house are.
Yeah.
Well, you asked me nice enough, I can go buy 1,000 of them and try to paint the whole side of his house.
We all know a guy that, I'm not going to say his name for obvious reasons, but he would get pissed at chickens in his chicken house and kind of throw them into the big-ass fans on the side.
Fucking, that's brutal. I'm just sitting here like running that over my head. And I'm like,
you know exactly who I'm talking about.
That's
too,
terrible.
don't you?
That's terrible, but somewhat. I find it to be satisfying.
Yeah. He showed you some pictures, some rougher shit. I'm not even going to talk about, but
we will not go.
We'll not mention that.
There. No. We're about. I'm done talking about Zelda. Pretty much. What did y'all think? What's your outside? I've owned the Switch for 3 days now, so I know what I think about.
I didn't get to see it for very long, but the one thing that I thought looked cool was Lyle had jumped into this lake, and there was a little outcropping of rocks in a circle, and I was like, okay, rocks in a circle, that's classic Zelda right there. You got to do something, and you'll be able to, like, that'll come into play later. You'll get something you'll be able to do there later.
I figure maybe there's something you throw down in it later. Maybe you'll get, in the Link to Past, you get the medallion out of the
or
the
you use your
circle.
magic mirror or whatever it is that takes you to the dark world or whatever. But that circle of stones in the middle of that lake is going to do something for you later.
Oh, yeah.
that's where the lady of the lake resides.
She's going to give you a sword.
I was
She's
gonna
gonna
say,
give you a
bitch better
sword.
give me a sword.
Ain't no system of government, though.
That's how you determine how kings are born.
It's
right
the
there.
law of the land.
I don't know. What do you think, Brandon?
Overall, liked what I played with it. I really, really like the combat. I'm not 100% that I want to see all future Zeldas go in this direction, but it's a pretty cool departure on its own.
Even if you don't have a Switch, I think it would make a badass Wii U pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't buy a Switch just for if you have a Wii U, but it's
what do
good.
you think the graphic difference would be between Wii U
There
and the
aren't
Switch?
None.
any. I've seen
Yeah.
them. There aren't any. People can say what the fuck they want. They look identical.
yeah.
So you're going to get the same experience on both.
Yeah, I think so. They're already hawking that motherfucking DLC for Zelda. I bitched about that a couple weeks ago. Like, that was one thing.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the fuck can you download right now?
Right,
it just came out.
If you get it right now, the only thing, it's $20 for the expansion pass. The
Well,
only
it's
thing you
good.
get right now is you get 3 treasure chests of rare items
Oh, that's
that are already
bullshit.
found in the game.
$20.
There's more to it. There's a new story coming out, some new bosses, a couple new dungeons, and all that. They don't fucking start releasing anything till late summer and fall, though. So I'm like, why in the fuck am I going to give you $20 now for 3 rare items that are technically still in the game? That's what they said to me the other night when I was picking up my Switch. I paid all my shit off, canceled my fucking extra warranty, and put the money toward Bomberman. They're like, oh, it's $430 for everything. Fork over my fucking income taxes, gone. And they're like, could we interest you in the $20 Zelda expansion? I'm like, you can interest me in sucking every amount of semen that my nuts will produce right out of my sack.
God.
Let me get graphic with you. How about a money shot?
We got a special running on Rock Candy controllers.
I think you might have to
Rock
pay
Candy
them for that one.
Joy-Cons are coming.
Okay.
It just
So DLC on day 2. They're already trying to peddle that.
Which is it's industry standard now.
See,
Unfortunately,
I don't give a shit about DLC. I love
Dude,
Skyrim.
there's
and
certain
I've never
games that
played,
sell fucking DLC before the game even comes out.
Yeah, like all of the Morrowind. I love Morrowind. I've never played the DLC.
Morrowind's my favorite.
Like I've never done an expansion for it, and Okay, so like my current game that I love is Witcher 3, and I know there's 2 expansions for it, but I haven't got them yet. I will get them because I hear they're like entire games within themselves.
I
That's
don't
good.
mind DLC like that. That is great.
Expansions are good.
Yeah.
DLC is usually shit.
To like take bullshit that's already included in the motherfucking game to begin with and just simply lock you out of it. Fuck you.
Especially if it's some kind of Overwatch, I got some like rare chest that I can get some like random items out of. That just sounds like a total wallet buttfuck.
It is. Yeah. I mean, and I can't say much because the Zelda I bought was $100. I bought the fucking special edition Zelda.
The box of it's bigger than the Switch box.
See, that right there, just like, I've paid over $100 for a game on Kickstarter, but I've never paid over $100
well, see,
a
though,
game.
Zelda,
I've never paid over $60 for a game.
Zelda is a game dear to me, so I don't mind paying that.
Well, that's a sweet-looking shelf piece you got there.
Oh, we're going to break it open after this. It's pretty fucking sweet on the inside, too. But, kind of like a lady. But,
you hear the kitten head twist off.
Oh, God damn it. I just, every time I will, like, click the fucking Joy-Cons in now, I'm just going to imagine, like, a kitten's head exploding.
Is it dumb that we're actually, like, buying into calling them Joy-Cons instead of just controllers? Like, is that a...
I guess because...
I mean, it's the same thing, though.
I think calling it controller implies it's more than it is, to be honest.
Well, I was expecting it to be more than it was, to be honest.
Everybody still
out
called
of all
Wiimotes,
of the games,
Wiimotes.
Okay, so we've played 3 games. We got Bomberman, the racing game, which I can't remember the name of that thing, and Zelda.
Fast RMX.
And there's none of those like give you the experience you got when you opened up the Wii U and you're playing Wii Bowling or Wii Sports. Like none of that feeling is there. Like the HD Rumble, there's no rumble that happened when I was playing any of these games.
They do have
oh
rumble,
my
though.
God, this is amazing. Yeah, it's just rumble.
They do have rumble. But,
it's rumbly, but it's nothing that's like,
oh
my God, this is something
right. I didn't
revolutionary.
notice it from any other kind of rumble.
Yeah.
That's my main nitpick with the fucking Switch is, God damn it, you could have at least done some sort of packing game. Like,
Dude,
1-2 Switch
it's such a
should have been a packing game.
Let me milk a fucking cow without having to pay for it. Thank you.
Yeah, 1-2
Exactly.
Switch is such a shitty game on its own for $50. No one in their right mind's gonna fucking buy that thing. It should have just been in the fucking console. It's not a great game. It's a goddamn dumpster fire from what I've seen. But they could have thrown it in for free.
It's not even really like a fucking video game. You're
it's
not actually doing anything on the fucking TV other than taking cues from it.
It's a motion control tech demo. That's all it is. And it's not a good one. Like Wii Sports was fucking perfect for
It's
that.
a shitty fucking version of laser tag for your fucking Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, you tired of playing rock, paper, scissors in real life? Now you can play it with controllers.
Yeah, okay. And the thing where you shoot each other, like the quick draw,
Yeah.
you could do that without a game.
Yeah.
Like, hell,
they done that on NES for Wild Gunman on NES. Done that shit. Like,
And was it Kirby All Stars had a pretty good one?
Yep.
So they should have thrown that in there. Honestly, they should have just done another fucking Switch Sports.
Am I the only one? I know this might sound bad, but when they did the reveal for the Switch and they showed 1-2 Switch, they had the guy in the shorts and the cowboy hat.
That
and
was
stuff.
the stupidest fucking shit.
It looked like a shitty Gap commercial.
It did. Terrible fucking Gap commercial.
Gap went out of business. Now we're making Nintendo commercials.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if I had somebody wanting to put a cowboy hat and those boots and shorts on, what? Why are you in shorts?
What I didn't understand about the tech demo is when he starts taking the cup of ice, demonstrating the motion control and the Joy-Cons, he's shaking the cup of ice, and I'm just like, I didn't know what to think. I'm like, is there somebody out there right now? It's like, man, this video game's riveting. But what do? You keep your ice from melting.
Well, I mean,
it's a bartender simulator. You serve drinks at the end of the night, you might get a blowjob from a girl that's puked on herself.
Nintendo invented Rumble, right? The Rumble Pack was the first thing that rumbled.
Yeah.
And that's a Nintendo thing. But, the entire industry's done it by now, and then they just want to be, HD Rumble. It's this big thing. What's the big thing about it? It doesn't feel that different.
I've
HD
heard it's
Rumble-
really good on the safe cracking part of 1-2 Switch. I haven't played it myself to confirm that. I've heard it feels like you're turning a dial on a safe. So that could be pretty cool, but I don't see much practical use
I will
for
probably
it.
get 1-2 Switch when it's a fucking $15 or $20 game.
Yeah, when it's bargain bin at
Yeah,
GameStop.
bargain bin, I'll get it. To tell you how shitty though the reviews for the game are,
It's
it was
bad.
on sale on Amazon yesterday for $39.99, and it's been out for fucking 2 days.
So are you going to get ARMS?
Yeah,
Hey, when I had to go
Yeah.
by Walmart last
Why?
night, it was the only Switch game they had.
1-2 Switch,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, everything else was sold out.
I am going to get ARMS. I think ARMS kind of looks interesting.
ARMS looks cool. I don't know if it's a full-fledged game, though.
I
don't
don't know
know.
if I could dig ARMS.
I know a lot of people that said they couldn't dig
it's,
on.
it's Wii Boxing, only it's its
Yeah.
entire
Right.
game dedicated to it.
Yeah, that's what's got me on it. It could be awesome, but they need to
I
do
don't.
more
I don't
with
know. Like the whole trying to add the first-person shooter element to it. I think maybe I'm gonna try it either way because it's gonna be a fucking. I'm not gonna buy the goddamn Switch for the 3 games I got
Yeah.
now.
it.
You
You
know,
ain't got much
forever.
choice. It's
Yeah.
slim pickings right now.
Splatoon 2 is what I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna pick up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just because Mario Kart 8 would be a great.
Yeah, I would have
great
liked to play
four-player.
that tonight because I hadn't played Mario Kart since like Super Nintendo. But I would love to play instead of the racing game that we played. Something like Mario Kart would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like Nintendo's trying to hit that Super Wii gimmick where they just had a runaway hit. They just don't realize that what made that such a hit was Wii Sports. The people who didn't play video games bought the Wii for Wii Sports. They could have did it again. I wouldn't have faulted against them to include Switch Sports.
Yeah, I would have loved to play some bowling tonight.
Yeah,
You know, that would have been cool.
yeah. There'd been nothing wrong with that, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Appealing to
I don't
hipsters.
really.
I don't
I don't
understand.
really understand why they've done one. You know, Virtual Console is not available. There are no online services available other than the eShop, and the eShop only has Zelda, Just Dance 2017. The only things that eShop has that they don't have physical releases of are fucking Shovel Knight, the new Shovel Knight expansion where you're like the Grim Reaper or whatever, and I Am Setsuma. I think it's like a JRPG. And another game that I've got the demo of called Cutterlings or something. You play as 2 pieces of construction paper that have to cut each other out to do tasks.
Butt fuck each other.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta cut. I don't know how to explain it.
So-
it's fucking weird.
On your Wii U, did you buy Virtual Console games?
Yeah.
Do those transfer over to
Yes.
Switch? Okay.
They have said so far that's one thing that they're wanting to do is they said that 3DS and Wii U titles you'll be able to.
It's
Cross-
certain, or they're looking into it.
Does that mean it's
No, they-
backwards
they-
compatible with Wii U games?
No, I don't think.
Okay, so it's just Virtual Console stuff from like Super Nintendo and back, like old Nintendo, like NES and SNES.
They haven't
or what?
really. They haven't really. That'll of course all be on there. But what I was reading, they have announced that's true. They're
Okay.
going to allow people to keep the Virtual Console titles, but there's a big rumor that they're going to be adding. The big rumor I seen was GameCube games are going to be available now.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Some Wii games, and I think they were talking about bringing back TurboGrafx and Neo Geo, like they had on Wii. Because on Wii Shop or Virtual Shop or Virtual Console on Wii, you could buy TurboGrafx 16 and Neo Geo and something else on it for a while,
And that would be
shit
tied
canned
to
it.
your Nintendo account, so no matter what future console, like they could keep that going.
Yeah. I was just wondering, my whole deal was like, they were like, well, you'll be able to take games from your 3DS and your Wii U. And I'm like, well, what if you've bought the same Virtual Console title on 3DS and Wii U? Like, should they give you like credit for two?
They won't.
They
They
won't.
won't do
I
that.
know they won't. I know that. But I'm just saying, should they? I mean, one thing that does piss me off, they announced like yesterday, though, is it just fucking irked me because it's one thing I goddamn just fucking loathe about Nintendo. to find your buddies online, they're still using the fucking friend code
Oh my
system.
God.
They are still using the fucking friend code system. That's something that chaps my ass. Because that is a faulty piece of shit way of finding people.
I understand.
I don't want to type in fucking 20 digits to look you up.
I understand some of the purpose of it is, so you can have little kids on this thing not interacting with people on the internet without your consent. But that could just be one fucking option. That could be an option in there. They just turn that shit off or make it really difficult. And then have normal fucking functionality like every other modern console. I don't understand why they're doing that.
I don't either. That's like, to me, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Okay, so I like Miitomo on the cell phone. Like, it's like your Mii's, only you get them on the go. Is that tied to the Switch at all?
I imagine it will be. If it's not.
Sure. I imagine it will, because I did see a thing where they were talking about all Nintendo's mobile endeavors are going to probably end up on Switch.
And Miitomo is supposed to be like a way for you to start getting rewards to use on your Nintendo account, if I recall correctly. Wasn't that originally like the reason they started that?
I think so.
Because they dumped the Nintendo rewards thing, which I loved that thing, because you get awesome little figures in the mail from buying
Dude,
games.
Alex has got... So Alex, Alex's mom, of course, when he was a kid, bought him all kinds of shit. I think she bought him like a Wii or a GameCube, something for Christmas, and bought like a lot of games with. They sent Alex a fucking like a Famicom edition Game Boy Micro.
Oh my!
That's worth like
awesome.
It's worth like fucking $600 now. He's got it in the box, never even been opened.
Wow!
It's like Famicom edition. They just like send him that shit, and I'm like, that is how you get fucking fans in Nintendo. Do that cool shit,
Yeah.
Give people the shit to put on the shelf, and
Yeah.
like, how about we take that away and take away a Pac-Man game too? Leave your fucking pussy like a desert.
Yeah, we had a few figures. Unfortunately, my kids were kids, and they fucking destroyed them because they don't understand, at the age they were, that was a toy and not a figure. But
Yeah.
like I had a really badass Mario get up that had like all the main Mario characters in one piece, and it was pretty badass until I think it was either my daughter or my stepson. One of them twisted Toad's head off like I did those kittens. And
Oh.
Wonk, wonk, wonk. We're an hour and 30 in.
Groovy.
On a rapper.
Yeah,
Actually, before we go,
we got us a voicemail.
Yeah, that's what I was
Let's
going to say.
see if I can play it here.
Hey, fellas, it's Nick up here in Michigan. I just listened to episode number 85. Love talking about shoot 'em up. So, nice job again. Sorry I got cut off my last voicemail. Hope you guys have a great spring. And, yeah, I'm all for not mixing politics and video games. So, could not agree more. Thank you once again for being as entertaining as always on this very long drive that I'm taking. So, have a great day, G.
Hey, well, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you for listening and
Well,
not being repulsed all the time.
Yeah, the whole fucking
It's good to know good people.
humble bundle getting into politics is a bunch of horse fuck.
There were quite a bit of politics in the last episode.
Yeah, even though
we're sorry.
Well,
Let's just say that. Look, we're sorry. We can't help the world that we live in is a piece of shit. We somehow got rolled up in it. It happens, I guess.
we're just bitching about people bitching about politics.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Yeah.
Keep the politics out of our games, Humble Bundle. That's
What's
all. I'm
fucking?
asking.
I've seen. There's. Well, our message board, got a little more. Chasen had said some stuff about it, and I understand what Chasen said, and I agree to a certain bit.
Yeah,
I
they confirmed that the humble bundle shit didn't go to a political organization.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop the fact that it was a politically motivated.
Yeah, what the
piece of
fuck does this still have to do with video games? Like,
Yeah.
so, man, politicians can.
Stay
They
on-
can go to a store and go down your fucking chip aisle and find the big grab of dicks. That big old big grab bag of dicks.
Go by the 7-Eleven and get the big gulp of dicks.
Yeah. Go to your fucking grandparents' Thanksgiving dinner. Demand them give you a cornucopia of dicks. tell them I will not settle for anything less than a cornucopia filled with dicks. No grandparents of mine would have not given me a cornucopia that wasn't filled with a pleasant amount of dicks.
God bless America. Fuck you.
It's cool to hear people all the way from Michigan listening, though. So, yeah, if
imagine we rednecks sound awfully funny up there.
no matter where you're at, give a call and let us know where you're listening from.
Like Miami Daniel.
Yeah.
Miami Daniel, that guy, that
Hopefully he's keeping his stupid ass down in Miami. Down there running all them kilos of coke.
Say
off
hello
them
to my
boats.
little friend.
Hey, man. You listen here, man.
I'm gonna fuck this town like a pussy. What are you saying? I don't know. This town's a pussy waiting to get fucked.
He says so many things, that goddamn movie. Play the jingle. Let them know what phone number to call. Yeah. You call that fucking phone number, because if you don't call it a bunch of bad shit, it's probably going to happen.
682-777 good.
Snakes jumping up and biting your assholes. All sorts of nasty stuff.
Pussy's getting harder than a damn rock. Hey, I ain't worth a buck.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, it's 3:04 a.m., so I think it's about time we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And in good memory of Bill Paxton.
Yes. Never forget Bill Paxton. And in honor of him, Mike, why don't you sign us off this evening?
Sure. He's the only guy that got killed by the Terminator, a Predator, and what else was it? The
Alien.
And the Alien. Yeah. All three
And he
of them.
almost got killed by a tornado, but he made it.
All right. Well,
he also got killed by surgery.
Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Oh, God.
I'm sorry. That was...
I heard he overdosed on Switch cartridges.
Oh, by the way, yeah,
fucking game over, man.
There's some video footage of Lyle putting one of these Switch games in his mouth, so we'll have to get that out there somewhere. But, but until then, game over, man. Game over.
They're just down there punching each other right in the muff.